Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Scorpio 2024 annual yearly reading. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and what a great pleasure it is to see you, the highly talented and attractive Scorpio. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take 12 cards, one for each month of the year, and that will give you a good overview as to what is happening throughout the course of the year. Now, do you know I've lost count of the number of your Scorpio sisters and brothers that I've done one-on-one clairvoyant readings for from different countries around the world over the course of the last year. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, just check out the description at the end of the video. Now separately, I charge for readings, I have to, but separately, what I don't charge for is the spiritual gift of healing, which I was also provided with at birth. And my sole contract is that I must provide that for free to anybody who asks for it. And I leave it up to the person to make sure that they are being genuine in their desire to have the healing done for them. And that's for free. There's no catch. There's nothing recommended or sold. And it is as it is. The description sets that out as well. Now, what you also know is that there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience directly. Now, this is a really beautiful deck, I think. This is the, I don't know what it's called. It's a look, the artwork on it is all medieval. So that's January. That's the wheel, and it's just stunning, the artwork on it. I think you'll agree in the way it sets out what's going on. Now, fortunately, that's the Nine of Wands. There's the Page of Wands. Fortunately, I have a really good response to it, and so I can give you the meanings, and you get the feeling as to what's going on throughout the course of the year without any hindrance as a result of this good response which I get to it. Fortunately, maybe I lived back then or something like that. Two of Coins. That was the Page of Wands that I mentioned that earlier. Here we go. There's the Four of Swords. We must be up to June now, are we? There's the Four of Coins, two fours, the Four of Coins. What's down in here somewhere? Let's drag this out, shall we? This is July, which is the King of Coins. Looking very kingly there, dear fellow. It's the King of Wands. A couple of gentlemen who have things to say to you. And at this time, there could be people that you know. Let's see what else is here. What's happening here? There's the Ace of Cups. Lovely. This is the Knight of Cups. We come into November, and it is the Three of Wands. And then to finalize the calendar year, there is the Queen of Swords. Good Lord. What an image, as you'll see in a second. Now, I'll bring the vision around, so why don't you come and sit with me, and together we can look at this absolutely beautiful artwork on this deck together while I do the reading for you. Okay, let's have a look at January, and it is the great benefic, spiritually, Jupiter dripping all over you, the planet of luck, expansion, and good fortune. Here is the Lord of the Forces of Life. Now, this is the perfect card to have in January because it's talking about a new beginning and an expansion, great creativity. I think there's some self-realization beginning to come into you now. Now, look, there's going to be some unexpected fortune, I think, because there's great luck around here, thanks to Jupiter. There's a chance opportunity, some winning ups and downs, of course, but there may well be a life-changing meeting coming about as far as I can see. Now, I think what this also does is it represents what might appear to you to be an unexpected change in your life. But this unexpected change is going to be something that is favorable. But it may not necessarily seem that way at first. So be ready to act upon any unexpected opportunities that come your way. Now remember, when times are good, stay centered, because things can change, can't they? And if things are challenging, don't be discouraged, because they're going to get better and better. Now look, change is about to happen in your life, and what a time of year for it. Now, you may need to alter your present course or change things around to set the stage for the right outcomes to come into your life. Remember, if you struggle against the course of life, you become like somebody struggling against the course of this wheel and maybe become crushed underneath it. But that's not going to happen to you, because you are going to stay in the center of the wheel. Then, despite any ebbs and flows, you won't be shaken or broken. And if you stay centered to your own truth, you will get through any hardship. But now you should say, I am ready for the miracle of my life. But things don't come for free, as you will know, and you will dig deep into yourself to push things forward and have a particularly great outcome. Now here we have the Nine of Wands. Now, spiritually, this is February, of course. You know we're doing January through June and then July through December. Well, let's have a look at this. Now, what I see here is the spiritual astrology for me is that of the moon in the second decan of Sagittarius, that 3rd to the 12th of December. Now, interestingly, with the number 9, I also have a mystical association with the moon as well. So you have a double lunar influence here, as the moon is ruling both the sign of Sagittarius, and it's also in the numerology. Now, I think what we see here, though, for you is that there is power that you are gaining through unifying conscious and unconscious energies. There's a wholeness here, a determination, a strength of character, almost what you might consider to be, now given the great plans that you have ready for this year ahead, you will have the courage to resist anything under fire, and you will be defending what you work for because you'll have a great belief in yourself. Now, the moon is very often about going deep within, and what you will do is you are going to reach into yourself and discover new depths of strength and power that you never thought you had. Now, you may encounter some obstacles along the way, as everybody does, but the point is this: you will have the strength to overcome them. Now, because this has turned up next to the Wheel of Fortune in the way that it has, this is saying that you can be reassured that you will have what it takes to get by, even in times of difficulty and stress. Inner strength is going to rise up and guide you towards your goal. And in the process, you're going to learn more about yourself and your abilities, gaining a new all-round perspective, which is going to bring you security and self-confidence. In fact, you will be saying, I know more and more clearly who I am, and this recognition leads to the full development of my potential strength. Not only are you going to have potential strength, but you will have conquered fear, I think, if this energy coming up in March is anything to go by. Now, interestingly, I'm getting a spiritual association with Leo, with Virgo, and with Cancer here. And I think what this is saying to me is, this energy here is saying that I think you are going to be a person who is has a passion for whatever kind of thing takes your interest at the time. And you might be entirely reckless in the means of obtaining gratification. In fact, I would say that you might be seen as being quite insatiable. Now, these court cards, of course, can be of either gender, but I see here a young woman, energetic, individualistic, brilliant, daring, which I think are characteristics that you will have, incidentally, and I think you'll be very expressive in love or in anger. But importantly, I think you will be freed from fear. There are new beginnings, there's optimism and an increased perception going on here. Now, you conquer fear. Now, when fear disappears, undreamed of springs of enthusiasm and joy are going to bubble up in you, revitalizing yourself. And your old fears, you will find, will have lost their power over you, and their corpses cannot frighten you any longer. So think at this time on what your greatest strengths are. Now, I think people are also going to see you as being extremely individualistic. You will create your own beauty by your essential vigor and energy. You will bedazzle people, and people are going to find you very sexually attractive. Now, in anger or in love, you might find that you are sudden, violent, and insatiable. Now, you'll be ambitious, and you might actually sometimes have an irrational enthusiasm for people or projects, but I don't think you're going to forget an injury. And the only patience, and I think you've been quite impatient during this period, but if someone has injured you, you will be patient. You will be patient while you lie in ambush, ready to take your revenge. You see, the good luck continues with you in April because you have Jupiter. Spiritually, I have Jupiter here again, is what's coming up. And it's Jupiter in Capricorn, first decan of Capricorn, the 23rd of December to the 2nd of January. Well, that might be potentially inharmonious, you might think, because Jupiter is all about expansion, isn't it? It's about moving on and pushing on with things. And Capricorn is about conservatism and practicality, but we're at 2 here. And the only card ahead of it is the ace, and so I'm not concerned about any astrological discord here. In fact, what this is saying is that there is change about for you and transformation. But the point is this, it is harmonious change. You see, it's Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter, the planet symbolizing luck and expansion, indicates that the changes that are coming to you will bring luck and enrich your life. The new will bring new stability and security, which is the Capricorn aspect. Now, you know, change is always necessary when the old form falls out of balance, isn't it? Change shakes you up, it wakes you up. And the only permanent thing is impermanence. So I see there being a great degree of movement here, but it's a movement which is going with the flow, and it's not running into problems or obstacles. Now, of course, there are a few ups and downs along, well, any road has that, but there is growth through change. I think there'll be a lot of multitasking going on. You'll have quite a heavy workload, I think, but you know what? I think you're going to be enjoying your work, and that's a good thing, isn't it? This is speaking of a welcome change coming into your life that is going to move you into a better phase. Now, Jupiter stays with you, in my estimation here, because I see with this card, Jupiter in the 3rd decan of Libra, interestingly enough. And that 3rd decan, of course, is the 14th to the 22nd of October. Well, Libra tries to find balance in your life. And the need for balance can sometimes induce unrest. Libra can also sometimes bring about indecisiveness, you know. But nevertheless, this is a period here where you get like a calm. There's a truce. You are centered. Your brain becomes clear. There's a spiritual cleansing as well. There's a healing and recuperation. In fact, I think what I see here is that Jupiter is coming in, which is giving you a period of rest from what might be a difficult situation, as well as opening your higher mind's flexibility, which will be needed to sort out conflicts in life, which you will do. The other thing is this, is that you will sort them out, and Jupiter will allow you to move on successfully. I see there's some more Capricorn energy around here that I can make out. Let me see here. This Four of Coins. Let's have a look at it. Now, this is interesting because this is the Sun in the third decan of Capricorn, 13th to 21st of January. Well, I mean, as we touched on, Capricorn is a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sort of a sign, isn't it? And those with the Sun in Capricorn in their birth charts, well, they have a realistic, grounded approach to life that can be seen no matter how challenging the rest of the chart is. So I see what's happening here is that there is going to be, you're putting down strong foundations. There's a stability. Now, you might be having something of a tight rein on the budget and be quite financially cautious in June. In fact, saving for the future and thinking about protecting yourself here. Now, the Sun energizes the Capricorn Earth, and material benefits or power are the result for you. Now, the Sun in ordinary astrology is the symbol of your dynamism or power, and Capricorn is the application of that power in a useful way to bring you success. The other thing that I would say in relation to this is, because it's just something which is sort of bubbling beneath the surface here, is that you might be tested not to give your personal power away. And you might need to choose about where and to whom you say no. You know, sometimes it's like you need to pull up a drawbridge and stay within your inner sanctuary so you don't give too much of yourself away. But you will have power during this period, and say this to yourself: I offer my power in the service of love. Now, we turn into July and we have the Lord of the wild and fertile lands, the King of Coins. A lot of Virgo here, a lot of Leo. Why am I getting that? Well, I think it's because the first two decans of Virgo are ruled by the Sun and Venus, respectively. And the Sun is required for, because he's the Lord of the lands, the Sun is required for crops. And the nurturing quality of Venus only complements this. So that's why I'm getting Virgo here, and Leo about as well. There's work here, working with instinct. You know, there could be a connection with the land here for you. Maybe this is somebody that you know who is connected with the land in real estate or development or construction. I think that you're going to be quite patient at this time, a hard worker. You'll be very clever, there's no doubt about this. The work that you are putting in will be well worth the effort if it is done in the service of personal growth during this period. And I think what we see here is that you need to make your inner wealth outwardly visible and to harvest the fruits of these efforts. Now, I think you'll be instinctive during this time with a good work ethic that's going to bring results over the longer term. Now, I know that you're an intelligent person, but I think that you should work with your intuition at this time, rather than necessarily coming up and experimenting with anything new. The other thing I get about this is also, I'm getting a feeling of a workaholic around here. So just to make sure that you do make sure that you pursue interests outside your area of work. Now would be the time to set your abilities to work in service of some kind. And say this to yourself when you get here: with every task that comes my way comes also the energy needed to accomplish it. Well, having had something of a, I won't say cruisy, but a going with the flow attitude in July, in August, it's completely different. And what you've done is you've reflected on your situation, and now you become very active and very determined to make things happen. Now, this is Scorpio all over it, and Sagittarius is around here as well. Now this is saying to me that you'll have a great degree of activity with you. There's a generosity of spirit with you, but you might be quite impetuous. That is, you might just charge off in a particular direction without reflecting enough on it. You'll be very quick, but people will say, what on earth did that person take that direction for? And yet it will turn out that you've chosen the right direction, because this is speaking of dynamic forward motion. And you'll be energetic and ambitious, adventurous, very determined. You'll be charming and magnetic and have a magnetism and a sexuality, a sexual attraction that will be very hard to resist. Now, there could also be things going on around you which are kind of unstable in your environment. But you should be cool, collected, and energetic, and be careful of the actions that you take. And that means nothing that hasn't been well thought out. But go forward with an alert confidence in your ability. The other thing about this energy here is that I get the impression that because of the presence of Sagittarius, that you shoot the arrow, but once the arrow has been let fly, it can't adapt to circumstances. And it's almost like you've got one shot in the quiver. So make sure that your goal is a virtuous goal, and also make sure that you've got a plan B. But it's all good news here, so find your vitality, trust your gut instincts, let your hair down, have some fun, give yourself a pep talk, and believe that you can do it. Then we have this, what is it? Ace of Cups. Do you get a lot of Scorpio around here as well? And Sagittarius is here again. There's also Libra about, could be important to you, I think. Let's have a look here. Well, this is saying that this is a time for you of overflowing love and an emotional clarity, and you'll have a deep love of the self. It's important to have a love of the self, because if you love yourself, you know the value of your love. You know the value of who you are. And so you know the value of the thing that you're offering to somebody else. And you know the value of what someone might be offering to you. Now, the Suit of Cups, of course, is about, well, they embody your experience of relationships, the pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, pleasure. But of course, we can't have those things without their opposites. Well, can we? But this is speaking to me of love in its purest sense, and an emotional abundance, maybe a new relationship, the deepening of a existing relationship. A birth or pregnancy is here, and a great degree of sensual passion. And I do think that there is an emotional balance available to be used and drawn upon by you for the next year. Now, that takes us to whom? To... what's this? October. This Knight of Cups. Now, I am getting a lot of Pisces around here, spiritually, Pisces, and getting Aquarius around here as well. Now, so the Aquarius energy that I'm getting here is going to make you independent and really hard to pin down in some respects, but nevertheless, you're going to have quite a humanitarian outlook. And this Pisces energy around here means that I think you'll be very sensitive. Your dreams will be very vivid at this time. Now, it could also relate to somebody else in your life. And I think that person there in your life with this Knight of Cups is going to be someone with commitment issues. Now, I do refer to the courts, as you know, they are male and female, but I'll refer to it as a male for the obvious reason. But this could well be somebody that you know who is a young man of subtlety, of a secret violence, sly and crafty. He has the ability to detach. I see a lot of Libra coming around in here as well. I'm getting Scorpio energy that's here. Why is that? I think it's because this person, because Libra is an air sign, has the ability to detach from the heavy, intense, controlling emotions that you can sometimes see in Scorpio. Now, I think that this is a person who is in control of their emotions, but is detached and cool. And that can often be a front for insecurity and fear, can't it? Well, I think what this person is, well, first of all, for you, I see this. This is a time when you will have desires, wishes, cravings even. But there is this possibility for transformation here. This other person is someone I think who is completely without conscience in the ordinary sense of the word, and it can be a woman. Someone who is perfectly ruthless, who cares intensely for power, information, and their own way. And they feel no responsibility for others, and they cannot be relied upon. They have an immense ability, but the responsibility is to themselves. And if you ever can consider where you stand in relation to them, you stand behind them because they can be secretive, hiding their deepest desires. Well, they can shed insight into other people's lives as they've often been there and done that themselves. But at worst, they can be cruel, selfish, and reckless. So just watch out for such a person. But for you, though, I would say this, that now is the time that you should say to yourself, I now live out my sexual desires because this makes me more vital and fulfilled. But then in November, we come to the Sun in Aries. And that's good because the Sun is exalted in Aries. And so that's a particularly favorable placement for you. It's good luck. And this is say that you will have honesty, self-confidence, and you're not going to be making any compromises. Your ideas are going to crystallize and turn into reality. And this is a confirmation that you are on the right path. There could well be an expansion. And you might even be thinking about turning a hobby into a business. Now, the Sun is exalted in Aries, as I say, and so this is very favorable. Now, Aries enjoys challenges, and Aries suns are happiest when their lives are moving forward and active, as yours will be there. And then finally in December, we'll quickly look at Madam here, the Queen of Swords. Somebody has forgotten to take out the trash by the looks of it. And spiritually, I'm getting the astrology of Libra and Virgo around her. Now, her association with Libra, I think, connects her to adjustment. So this is all about making clear decisions based on fact and fairness for you in December, similar to the Queen herself. Now, this is a woman, could be a man, who is graceful, very perceptive, a keen observer, an intense individualist, confident and gracious, and you'll be cutting through old masks and roles. You'll have a great intellect with you, and you'll be very logical. Now, you need to make a decision, and it's not a time to beat around the bush. It's a time to act and make things happen, which you will do.
I thought that was fascinating, didn't you? And didn't you enjoy the artwork on the cards? It's so unusual, isn't it? You don't really see anything like it anywhere like that. I must try and remember who it was that gave this to me. And you know, the best thing is with tarot decks is that people actually gift them to you rather than you buy them yourself. Did you know that? And the tradition is to tie string around the deck before you give it to the person as well. That's the old tradition anyway. But look, if you did enjoy the reading, please do me this favor, and it's the only thing that I ask for you. Would you smash the like button on the way out, because it's good for the YouTube computer thing. You know, you understand how that works, probably a lot better than I do, I must say. But until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.